Before going to sleep, Tom told her, "You're my girl. You're my favorite girl in the whole world." The next morning, Tom didn't come down for breakfast. Kate climbed to the attic to wake him. She found him beside the bed, hanged by a torn sheet tied to the rafter. Kate was stunned, numb with bewilderment. Why would a boy as popular and handsome as Tom hang himself? The Hepburns would never know, nor would they speak about his death again. But its effect on Kate was devastating. With Tom's death, she was no longer a carefree child. The experience threw her into premature adulthood.
I think it threw me closer to Dad and Mother. I was two people instead of one. I was sort of a boy and a girl. There was Mother, Dad, and me, and then the rest of the kids. And I think maybe that's why I sort of brought them up.
Tom's death had another effect. Kate's helplessness in the face of her brother's profound despair would scar her for the rest of her life. After Tom's death, Kate would wake at dawn every day of her life, go to bed strictly at 10. Privacy became a passion, almost a religion for Kate. In her seclusion, she found solace.
Well, grieving is a private matter. I think everyone grieves for certain things that have come into their lives and gone out of their lives.
Kate not only guarded her grieving, she guarded every aspect of her true self. In 1924, 3 years after Tom's death, she left home for college in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and she took her obsession for solitude with her. But it was there she discovered acting. By playing other characters, she found a way to disguise her true self. In one of her performances, since Bryn Mawr was an all-girls school, she played a man. Her senior year, during the annual May Day celebration, Kate was the mythical Pandora, seen here in rare footage. Acting for Kate became her mission. When she graduated from Bryn Mawr, her goal was not just to become an actress, but to become a star. She headed for New York, for Broadway. It was 1928, the roaring 20s. The city was a world of speakeasies, bright lights, and big dreams. To this glittering world, Kate brought her fearless enthusiasm and single-minded determination. And she found her first great fan in a Philadelphia socialite named Ludlow Ogden Smith. Luddy. She met him in Bryn Mawr, and he followed her to New York. Kate, even then, had a way about her that was magnetic. She was unusual, tall and athletic, with fiery red hair and a fiery wit. Luddy adored her. He fostered her self-confidence and admired her beauty. And he fed her need for the unconditional love she had come to rely on from her parents. In a moment of abandon, she slept with Luddy. 5 months later, she married him. And it was an unconventional marriage from the start.
I got married to an angel named Luddy, who helped me very much get started in the world and let me go, and to whom I was devoted. But I would say he had a rotten shuffle. I broke his heart. I spent his money.
They were married only 2 weeks and living in suburban Philadelphia when Kate decided to return to New York. She was driven. She needed the stage. Luddy followed, waiting for her in their small apartment as she auditioned, worked intermittently, and struggled. He stood by her during her first 4 years as she fought to make a name for herself. And then in 1932, Kate finally got her first break. As a virtual unknown, she was thrown into a part that suited her lanky, boyish good looks. Antiope in The Warrior's Husband, and suddenly Hollywood took notice. When we return, Katherine Hepburn bursts onto the Hollywood scene, charming the masses and capturing the hearts of some of the richest and most powerful men in the world. Lifetime. Television for women.
They were short-handed at jump rope today. Thousands of kids miss school every day because of allergies. If left untreated, they can lead to more serious illness. If your children have allergies, talk to their doctor. Keep them from missing their turn.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear our footsteps?
Can you hear us approaching at cyber speed?
Because we are the coming attractions.
Version 2K.
And we're getting stronger every nanosecond.
Maybe you've got all the hype and headlines now.
But we've got moms.
And they know Sunny D has as much calcium as milk.
To help us grow strong.
You may be writing the records now.
But we have Sunny D.
Are you ready for what's coming?
Strength to shine.
Victoria's Secret, Body by Victoria. Devastating collection of lingerie that's as seamless as it is sexy. Body by Victoria, seamless, and only at Victoria's Secret.
When my job transferred me to Japan, it was moving home for me. But for my husband, it was 7,000 miles away from diners, friends, football. I try to keep things around that make it feel a little more like home. Like this t-shirt collection he loves, I don't want them to wear out.
Introducing new Tide with Wear Care. Unlike regular powders, it helps prevent damage to cotton clothes, so they last longer.
He's starting to fit in really well, at least in most cases.
Bubba, it's great hanging with you guys.
I love you, man.
But what about me?
I love you too, man.
More than me?
No, man.
No, it's that whole weak thing, isn't it? You just love that sweet frosting, don't you?
You're confusing me, man. I can't choose.
You don't have to choose sides. You can have it all with Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats. Now in honey, too.
See, you do like him best.
Chill, baby. I got you covered.
Hertz has 24-hour emergency roadside assistance, thousands of convenient locations, and only Hertz offers the never-lasting car navigation system. Can you buy this peace of mind? Not exactly, but you can rent it.
I fell so in love with him. The minute I looked in his face, it was as if I had loved him forever.
Intimate Portrait. Tomorrow night at 7, Linda Evan. She returned from maternity leave to go on and win 3 consecutive championships. That's what we call bouncing back from a pregnancy. Meet Cheryl Swoops, mother's spokesperson and WNBA All-Star. She's just one of the amazing women of the WNBA. Watch her and the Houston Comets take on the Charlotte Sting. Friday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on Lifetime.
Does she know about us?
No.
I don't think I'd tell her.
I hadn't intended to.
Let that be ours.
Yes.
In 1932, at the age of 25, Katherine Hepburn left her stage career and her husband in New York to try her talents on the screen.
Don't you see? Does she love you? Will she love you head over heels regardless as I?
After her performance in the play The Warrior's Husband, numerous Hollywood studios requested screen tests like this one.
Sweet.
Even though she was still a novice, she caught the attention of the young director, George Cukor. He was looking for an ingenue to play the part of the daughter in a family drama called Bill of Divorcement. Cukor was impressed by Kate's elegance on screen and decided to give her a chance. Her co-star would be none other than the stunning 1920s matinee idol, John Barrymore, who after a decade of drinking and womanizing was aging quickly. Still, his presence would nearly guarantee the film's success. Kate knew that this could be her big break in Hollywood, but she insisted that her work be on her own terms. The salary she negotiated was 3 times that of any other first-time actress, and she would earn every penny. Here, Barrymore plays her father, whom she hasn't seen since she was a child.
We're in the same boat, Father. Daddy.
For a newcomer, her performance was a triumph. In an interview many years later, George Cukor reflected on the star he had discovered.
Katherine Hepburn is human in every way, and she was gifted at that time and had the originality. She'd been only acting for some time, and she certainly had never acted in front of a camera. It was a wonderful part, and she made an enormous impression.
The voluptuous blonde with the swaying hips and the pungent cloak.
Katherine Hepburn emerged at a time when glamorous bombshells like Mae West, Jean Harlow, and Marlene Dietrich defined the Hollywood woman. Katherine Hepburn stood apart. Her face was freshly scrubbed and freckled, and her attire, men's suits, would become her trademark. Kate's boyishness created an unintentional fashion that suited her lifestyle.
I mean, I like to move fast, so wearing high heels was tough. And wearing low heels with skirts is unattractive, so pants took over.
In the glittering world of Hollywood, Kate's image was refreshing, athletic and strong, while still being vulnerable and feminine. Hollywood then as now was a world built on image, and image meant more than just style. With stardom, Katherine Hepburn created a public persona for her fans. She would have her audience believe she was the adorable, fresh-faced girl they saw on the screen. She controlled that image with great care. With the exception of the glamorous movie stills released by her studio, she kept every aspect of her personal life hidden. To shield herself from the paparazzi, she never went out to dinner, never appeared in public. But the real Kate was hardly the innocent feminine ideal she presented.
You sell yourself. The part of myself that I sell is the creature, the adorable part.
She did not want people to know that in her ruthless pursuit of success, she had abandoned her husband in New York. Katherine Hepburn, the creature, would keep her marriage hidden from the press. She felt she had to conceal the drive that made her ferociously selfish and tough, attributes that in a man might have been respected, but in a woman in the 1930s were considered unbecoming, if not outrageous. From the time she was a child and called herself Jimmy, Katherine Hepburn had been fighting against the rules of being a woman.
Sometimes it's very difficult to be a woman. Don't you think so? I think it's very difficult to figure out. I tried very hard to make myself agreeable, but it isn't always possible. And if you're disagreeable as a woman, you're a disagreeable woman.
Katherine Hepburn created her own rules. In her first year in Hollywood with Luddy in New York, she began an affair with her dashing Hollywood agent, Leland Hayward. Hayward loved her and fed her ego. And like Luddy, he was willing to have a relationship that required from her no compromise, that allowed her to pursue her career single-mindedly. But success would not be as easy as it seemed in Bill of Divorcement. She took some parts that suited her very well. She was perfect as the tomboy Joe in Little Women. Most roles, however, in the early part of her career didn't suit her well at all. In her first few years in Hollywood, she hadn't learned to fight for stories that showed off her talents.
I think the pictures were dull. At the beginning of my career, Quality Street, which was a dull play and a bad picture, Break of Hearts, a dull picture. Spitfire, which never should have been done.
In Spitfire, she played an uneducated country girl.
Hard. Go on, you little old toad frog. Boy, you get the stuffing kicked out of you. Suffering cats, you sure are ugly. Got a pretty coat on, though.
Then Katherine Hepburn saw a part that she knew would suit her. The film was Morning Glory. The part was Eva Lovelace, a young actress with the blind ambition to become a star. The role had been slated for another actress, but Kate saw an opportunity to show off her talents, and she would not take no for an answer.
I suppose you've had a good deal of experience.
One way or another.
Do you believe in marriage?
I always have.
I don't. Not for the artist.
Katherine Hepburn's instincts were right. She was a great Eva Lovelace. The movie was a hit, and in 1934, at the age of 27, just 2 years after she arrived in Hollywood, she received her first Academy Award, a stunning achievement so early in her career.
It's the biggest night of the year in Hollywood as Oscar steps into the spotlight. Just about everybody who's anybody in the film world is on hand for the...
But Katherine Hepburn's obsession with privacy kept her from attending the ceremony. Kate was on a high. She believed that a great actress should be able to take her talents back to the stage. So she returned to Broadway, and with her Academy Award was given marquee billing in a play called The Lake. The Lake was the story of a woman in her late 20s, an old maid back then, who has her last chance at marriage but is torn by an affair. It was a part Katherine Hepburn could understand. But on opening night, she froze. She walked through the part with absolutely no emotion.
And so then I thought, that is a very serious thing for you to have done. Are you always going to do that? Why did you do it? What went wrong?
What went wrong was that Kate was ill-trained for the stage. She still had a lot to learn about being an actor. She was devastated, and she knew she had only herself to blame.
I think I handled failure in The Lake, where I was the joke of this city, and I grew up. I learned that you're paddling your own canoe, you know. If you stop paddling, you're not going to get anywhere. And the tide is going to take you, and the waves are going to sink you.
Katherine Hepburn could have given up, returned to her marriage, or even married Leland Hayward. But as the fiercely independent woman she was becoming, these options held no allure. Instead, she decided she needed to devote herself even more completely to her art. This meant sacrificing her marriage to Luddy once and for all.
I face the facts. If you're an egomaniac woman and you want to be a big smash hit, don't torment some poor man.
Though she and Luddy were to remain good friends, that winter she flew to Mexico with a friend and finalized her divorce. Luddy did not protest. When she returned to Hollywood in early 1934, Leland Hayward awaited. He knew with her divorce she was now free to marry him. He proposed. Kate declined. But another relationship was already on the horizon. John Ford, her director on a film called Mary of Scotland, would become one of the most acclaimed directors in Hollywood. Depressive, alcoholic, and married, Ford would not press Kate into a relationship she was incapable of having at this stage in her life. He was famous, he was unattainable, and he fascinated her. It was a short-lived relationship which Kate would always claim was platonic. Ford, even if he loved Kate, would never leave his wife. But it was in this relationship that Kate first found an example of the kind of man who was a challenge to her. He would not bend to her demands. In 1935, Katherine Hepburn was on the set of Sylvia Scarlett, the first of her films with Cary Grant. It was there that the 29-year-old Kate caught the eye of one of America's foremost bachelors, Howard Hughes. In a desperate attempt to get Kate's attention, Hughes landed his plane on a field beside the set. He was madly in love with her. Hughes was handsome, wealthy, as driven as Kate, and just as much a loner. The two seemed ideally suited, and after a lengthy pursuit, Kate fell for him and moved in with him. There were rumors they would marry. But marriage was not in Kate's game plan. She could think only of her career. While she was seeing Hughes, she made 3 noteworthy films: Alice Adams, Holiday, and the screwball comedy classic Bringing Up Baby, in which Hepburn plays a daffy society girl who falls in love with the intellectual straight man, played by Cary Grant.
I don't believe you, Susan.
But you have to believe me.
I've been a victim of your unbridled imagination once more.
No, but if you'd only wait while I explain, I'll just give you my pistol. Does you want to wear those clothes?
No, I don't want to wear this thing. I just want to get married.
But most of her films between 1935 and 1938 were disasters. Audiences stayed away in droves from such films as Stage Door, A Woman Rebels, and Sylvia Scarlett. Kate was dubbed box office poison. At 31, after 15 films, it looked like Katherine Hepburn's career was over. Even her high-profile affair with Howard Hughes couldn't save her reputation as a star. She left Hughes, and in the spring of 1938 left Hollywood as well, for the safety of her home and family where she could sort out where she'd gone wrong. When we come back, Katherine Hepburn meets Spencer Tracy, and the legendary on-screen and off-screen romance is born.
Hi, I'm Nancy McKeon. Join me for a special sneak preview of Lifetime Movie Network, the only movie channel just for women. Spend the day with me at Disney MGM Studios as Lifetime brings you a sample marathon of some of the great movies that run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on our sister network, Lifetime Movie Network. It's a full day of movies that you love and a chance to win a vacation for 4 to Walt Disney World Resort. It all happens Sunday, starting at 10, right here on Lifetime. Television for women.
Get ready to fall in love with Runaway Bride. Richard Gere and Julia Roberts light up the screen. The magic is back in a big way.
Now that's romantic.
Runaway Bride, rated PG, now on video and DVD.
Go natural with Huggies Natural Care Baby Wipes with vitamin E and aloe. They keep skin naturally healthy as they gently clean. So stay petal soft with Huggies.
Love at first sight. What's that based on? Have you ever looked at someone and said, check her out, she looks loyal? Or, whoa, look at the morals on that guy. No, love at first sight is based on something else. Sight.
I see you, baby.
The 2000 Mitsubishi Eclipse, nicely equipped at 17.7. You'll even love what's on the inside.
The afterlife. You know what I like about this place? No bad hair days. You know what I love about this place? Breakfast. I can have all the smooth, creamy Philadelphia cream cheese I want. I think a bagel without Philadelphia should be considered a sin. Oh, no. Just a suggestion.
Just when you think there's only so many ways to make a burger, we come up with something better. Now every order is made hot, fresh, right to order. So suddenly I'm not just making a burger.
I'm making your burger.
Makes all the difference in the world. How can I tell it's working? Yep, that's one yes.
We love to see you smile.
Lifetime. Television for women.
Look what's in store for you at the all-new Value City Furniture Showroom in Northlake. Right now, get the guaranteed lowest prices on complete furniture collections for every room in your home. Living rooms, bedrooms, dining rooms, and more. Plus, get 90 days same as cash. Value City Furniture, now open on North Avenue, east of I-290. Price is good at all Chicagoland locations. Value City Furniture. You just can't do any better.
This summer, get the royal treatment with In Demand Summer Cinema Royale. The biggest movies in your home, all summer long. With In Demand pay-per-view, you have the power. You push the buttons. You get the movies you want. In Demand Summer Cinema Royale. Bring your lounge chair inside for the best movies all summer long. I rule. In Demand, you rule.
The end of her marriage to Luddy. The end of her relationships with John Ford and Howard Hughes. Bad reviews in her play The Lake. Box office poison in Hollywood. In 1938, Katherine Hepburn retreated to the security of her family home in Connecticut to return to the roots that had once made her strong. It was as if Kate's personal misfortune was being mirrored in the world around her.
September 1938. The eastern seaboard is lashed by a tropical hurricane. Against nature's fury, man had no defense. He could only flee to safety, leaving possessions behind.
Katherine Hepburn's family home would be destroyed.
We got her out of the house, and the house turned around and sailed off. It had just sailed off and caught about half a mile away on a stone bridge.
There was nothing left of her home or her career. Kate was left picking up the pieces, but she was back with her family, and with them, no challenge seemed insurmountable.
From defeat, I learned you have to know a little bit what you're doing. Because if you don't like a situation, you usually can get rid of it or put it aside or something and move on.
Without love, without a job, and without the home she'd so relied on for strength, Katherine Hepburn turned to the only thing she had left, her own courage. She would go back to her career fighting. The timing couldn't have been better for playwright Philip Barry. He approached Kate with a script he'd been writing expressly for her. His lead was a sharp, aristocratic, willful woman, a perfect Hepburn vehicle. The role was Tracy Lord. The play, The Philadelphia Story. It opened in New York on March 28, 1939. Katherine Hepburn emerged from the utter devastation of just 6 months before with a smash success. But Kate was determined to return her name to the screen as well and rid herself of her stigma at the box office. Rejected by the studios, she turned to Howard Hughes. He, like Luddy, had remained a friend. He understood her predicament and offered to buy her the film rights to The Philadelphia Story. When Kate returned to the West Coast this time, she had a proven script that was hers alone and gained Hollywood's attention. Suddenly, she was a film producer in her own right, a position unheard of for women of the day. The Philadelphia Story, co-starring Cary Grant and Jimmy Stewart, relaunched her Hollywood career. In it, Katherine Hepburn was at her most beautiful, most witty, and most alluring.
She's not hurt?
No, no.
Not wounded, sir, but dead.
Seems the minute she hit the water, the wine hit her.
Now look here, Connor. A likely story, Connor.
Hello, Dexter. Hello, George. Hello, Mike.
Kate once again was back on top, but she knew how quickly her success could all slip away. She immediately bankrolled another surefire script, Woman of the Year. And there was one actor with whom she wanted to work, a man she had long admired, Spencer Tracy. While she constantly struggled with her acting, she saw Spencer as natural and comfortable on the screen. His great success in movies like Boys Town and Captain's Courageous was because he seemed to be ad-libbing, not acting, and she liked that he was a little rough-looking, not classically handsome. The roles of Tess Harding and Sam Craig in Woman of the Year required an attraction of opposites, and total opposites is how she saw herself and Spencer. Her presence was elegant and energetic, a way about her that was magnetic. She was unusual, tall and athletic with fiery red hair and a fiery wit. Luddy adored her. He fostered her self-confidence and admired her beauty. And he fed her need for the unconditional love she had come to rely on from her parents. In a moment of abandon, she slept with Luddy. 5 months later, she married him. And it was an unconventional marriage from the start.
I got married to an angel named Luddy, who helped me very much get started in the world and let me go, and to whom I was devoted. But I would say he had a rotten shuffle.
Rare footage. Acting for Kate became her mission. When she graduated from Bryn Mawr, her goal was not just to become an actress, but to become a star. She headed for New York, for Broadway. It was 1928, the roaring 20s. The city was a world of speakeasies, bright lights, and big dreams. To this glittering world, Kate brought her fearless enthusiasm and single-minded determination. And she found her first great fan in a Philadelphia socialite named Ludlow Ogden Smith. Luddy. She met him in Bryn Mawr, and he followed her to New York. Kate, even then, had
I think it threw me closer to Dad and Mother. I was two people instead of one. I was sort of a boy and a girl. There was Mother, Dad, and me, and then the rest of the kids. And I think maybe that's why I sort of brought them up.
Tom's death had another effect. Kate's helplessness in the face of her brother's profound despair would scar her for the rest of her life. After Tom's death, Kate would wake at dawn every day of her life, go to bed strictly at 10. Privacy became a passion, almost a religion for Kate. In her seclusion, she found solace.
Well, grieving is a private matter. I think everyone grieves for certain things that have come into their lives and gone out of their lives.
Kate not only guarded her grieving, she guarded every aspect of her true self. In 1924, 3 years after Tom's death, she left home for college in Bryn Mawr, Pennsylvania, and she took her obsession for solitude with her. But it was there she discovered acting. By playing other characters, she found a way to disguise her true self. In one of her performances, since Bryn Mawr was an all-girls school, she played a man. Her senior year, during the annual May Day celebration, Kate was the mythical Pandora. Seen here in before going to sleep, Tom told her, "You're my girl. You're my favorite girl in the whole world." The next morning, Tom didn't come down for breakfast. Kate climbed to the attic to wake him. She found him beside the bed, hanged by a torn sheet tied to the rafter. Kate was stunned, numb with bewilderment. Why would a boy as popular and handsome as Tom hang himself? The Hepburns would never know, nor would they speak about his death again. But its effect on Kate was devastating. With Tom's death, she was no longer a carefree child. The experience threw her into premature adulthood.